Hello, my friends. On today's menu, a treat called Pelon, Rico, Tamarindo Original. So, this frog-looking creature is actually a character spewing the gel substance out of the top of his head. I think these are his arms raised in the air, very frog-like. And the ingredients don't mention tamarind at all, but there is a dose of chili powder. Actually, after sugar water and corn syrup, it's mostly chili powder. And on the side we have a warning, "Attention please!" exclamation point. Choking hazard, small parts. Well, there was a much bigger option, maybe with twice the contents. I thought I'm just going to try the small one. Maybe it's going to become a new favorite. Maybe not. So it was packaged kind of in plastic, which I've already removed, and I'm going to be pressing this substance out of the top. And hopefully the emotion that's going to overtake me is going to be similar to what's happening to this character. Alright. I'm going to try twisting this off. That's not really working. Alright, I'm going to try to press it away. Alright. And we're confronted with this strange cap. Far different than I would have expected. And it gives me an unsettled feeling. It's almost like those pictures of like hands where they photoshopped that plant that's similar to this, where the seed pod forms inside of these little indentions and you can shake it and it rattles. So an unsettled feeling, kind of a feeling of infestation or parasitic kinds of emotions coming over me. A carnal, ancient fear of parasitism. Alright, let's smell it. The cap is yielding nothing. I'm getting nothing of chili powder, nothing of an aroma at all. Absolutely lacking any aromas. Now I'm going to do a gentle press. Careful not to spit it like deodorant up into the air, into my face or worse. And here, I'm going to get this up close because you have to experience this with me. Like earthworms crawling out of a plastic earth. Well, now I see why this fellow has these. I thought at first that it was just kind of like a splash or something erupting, but it actually is those worms. He's happy about it. Maybe they have taken over his brain, and much like those creatures that control the brains of insects, he's being controlled by this unusual product. Alright. I'm going to give it one more attempt at a sniff check. Absolutely nothing. Maybe my sniffer's not working correctly. I'm not smelling anything. The barest hint of kind of chili powder maybe in that whiff. Alright. It's not very yielding. It's a very thick paste. It didn't even stick to my tongue. There's no flavor lingering. Only during the moments when my tongue was touching the product did I get a hint of kind of a flavor. Let's go ahead. Dry. Sweet. Not really in a syrupy way, but in kind of a and kind of like the way that taffy or something would be. Alright, that's my first actual bite. It's staying well clumped. Okay. Alright, for a moment it stayed clumped together, but it dissolved into a gritty, sandy, flavorsome paste. This one's hard to wrap my head around, folks. I'm going to get a substantial amount here. Okay. It's not enough just to lick it. You have to really just, since it's so thick and pasty, you have to really kind of lick it and then bite it off. Not overly sweet. I mean, the major, I guess I should say, the sweetness is really tempered by this intense savory flavor. The grittiness isn't really off-putting, although in and around my teeth and jawline there's a lot of gritty sand, which is the chili powder. The heat really is coming to the fore here after that substantial bite. Not overwhelming heat, but I can feel the zing along my palate and especially around where my gullet begins. This is interesting, and I'm having a good time, and it's because the flavor is actually pretty good. Let me try to elaborate a little bit more on my emotions. And then we're going to see just how long we can make this hair grow. Alright. The sweetness, since it's almost half and half. You've got intense sweetness butting right up against intense savoriness. So the sweetness doesn't have a chance to be cloying, and the savory characteristics are balanced in a pretty good harmony. Once again, finishing with that grittiness. It's not gravelly sand, it's very fine. This has been pounded into submission. The chili spices have been. Let's just go for it. I'm going to give it a dedicated press, and I'm going to make my mustache grow. Okay. Unique. Still alien-like. Still a bit scary. And now that I've had a few tastes of it, though, I'm into it. All right. Yep. The chili is not a conventional cheap chili taste. It's not like they just took regular cooking chili powder, mixed it in a bunch of corn syrup, and dropped it into this syringe. It's got a fine, nuanced chili taste that really evokes in me the notion that they took care to blend the chilies properly, dry them properly, and great care seems to have been taken in the creation of Pelon, Pelo, Rico. So, I'm won over. I'm a fan. I wish my thoughts could really hang on the particulars, but the experience as a whole is very good. There's not much that I can criticize. And the balance is so finely tuned that it's something unique unto itself, and it's difficult for my palate to pick it apart into the individual components. So that is the master stroke of the blender, the blending agent, the blending personnel over at the Tamarind station. All right, one more bite. A fine product. It's got, when you get a big mouthful of it, it's like you've got a big mouthful of toothpaste. But it tastes great. The sweetness isn't overwhelming. The spicing agents are all good. The tamarind flavor is just lurking in there, providing a good, stable, sturdy base for the other flavors to mingle. And it's not something I'm going to probably purchase again, but for a unique, novel experience, it borders probably more on savory than a candy-like. You gotta give this stuff a try. Unique among the candies I've reviewed, and very well done.